Okay. This... okay, this is a VoD review of a scrim for Tim Sams. Let's just get...
You wanna go restart or go hog?
Okay.
I can play Hanzo to a medium distance.
Okay.
This map doesn't have anything super long range anyway, so it should be fine.
That's a lie. There's
Especially if they get to the
first point.
Yeah,
Oh,
after
this
first,
would be really
after
good.
first sight line.
If they do pirate ship this, what are we switching to?
If they're pirate shipping, I'll just flank behind.
Probably want to go to like.
okay, so you guys are on defense. One second, I'm getting PM'd. These guys are on defense. Well, no, you guys are on defense. Sorry, and you, I think, are gonna run. Let me just skip forward a tiny bit.
Although we don't.
Alrighty.
To make sure. Okay, this is a comp you're gonna run. So you have Orisa Hog. Your Orisa and your Hog are gonna want to communicate. Just your Orisa calls out halting, and then your Hog. So you say like halting, 3, 2, 1, and then your Hog will hook it. And if you can pull off halt hooks, a lot of teams won't know how to play against it in the lower ranks. So you're gonna like completely dominate with that. Then you've got the Hanzo, which if your Hanzo can set up. So like the way you do this, usually I would run double sniper on this defense. So you have the Hanzo where he is right now. Control this side of the flank and like sort of maybe flank behind, shoot some arrows this way, and sort of just like control the high ground from behind them. And then you'd also have like a Widow instead of the Junkrat, who would then, there's like this flank around here, and the Junkrat would hold there, and oh no, the Widow would hold there and hold that flank as well as like shooting down main. Then you've got the Moira, which is she's a good healer. Like Mercy is not required anymore, and then Brig, which is good for the sustain. If you're gonna play more of a brawl style of this comp, the Brig is good. Brig Moira is enough healing, especially when you've got a Roadhog. So yeah, then I will wait till they start, because they could switch up their comp at any point. What is this, 20 seconds? So, like that.
Yep.
Okay, so the comp, wait.
I haven't erased that, so it looks like
Because
pirate.
the comp they look like they're going to be rolling with is the Orisa Diva, which is a more complicated strategy. Basically, the Orisa's going to hold the payload, the Diva's going to contest the high ground. Most likely who that will be is your Hanzo. Their Ana is just going to supply heals from the backline. They have a 2-player backline, or actually 3, sorry. They have a 3-player backline who their Diva will be peeling for. The 3-player backline is the Ana, Zen, and the Widow. Your Hanzo's going to have to pressure their Widow as much as possible. Also, your Orisa actually can just... If your Orisa just shoots in the general direction of the Widow's going to be like displaced a lot by that. Then... they've got a Sombra who's going to be... Actually, the good thing is for you is you don't have a very harassable backline hero. You have... Because you don't have a Zen, instead you have the Brig. So the Sombra isn't going to be able to do a lot of work if you can play around that. And sort of like support your Brig and basically just zone out the Sombra completely. You have more shield break than them, which is good for you. So you're just going to break their shield, pressure the Orisa, and maybe like... spam down the Ana just so she can't do as much healing.
Ship.
Maybe.
No.
Risa
Doesn't
Diva?
look like a Bastion. No Bastion, no
Risa
Bastion.
Diva's
No Bastion.
Go Widow, left side.
They're going right through the tunnel, right through
Okay,
the
it's
tunnel.
just a tip. If they do have a Bastion, you either hide behind this here, and there's like another one here, or can you wait for them to go, the payload to go under the bridge here, and then you jump on them when they're there, and it will focus the Bastion, or you just go around to this corner here, and then as soon as they're on the bridge, you will just run out and fight them here. That's just if they do have a Bastion.
I'm taking a lot of damage
Do
already.
you think
Thank
that?
you.
Ignore that. I'm backing off here a little bit to underneath the bridge.
Don't flank. Widow is doing
No
well.
shield.
Come down, come down, come down.
Okay, so already you guys are playing extremely split. Your Hog is here trying to get probably a flank pick, but he can't because the payload is too far back, so he's not going to be able to hook anyone if the Orisa shield is there. Unless you're going to sort of play around, so unless you know your Hog can hit hooks, and you're going to play around shield break so your Hog can hook and get a pick every fight. Then your Junkrat is over here. He can be easily pressured by the Sombra and maybe body shot by the Widow for the Sombra to then come and clean up. Then you've got your Hanzo up here. This is where the Hanzo should be holding. Like around this flank here, this is where he should be holding at all times, or not. In general, it's a very strong place for him to hold. And then you've got your 2 supports and your Orisa here. So your Hog and your Hanzo and your Junk aren't getting any healing apart from your Junk is in LOS or your Brig. So, but that's only on like every like 7 or 8 seconds. So you're playing extremely split, and if they knew what they're doing, their Ana would walk forward onto your Hog or your Hanzo, and you die to the D.Va.
What is tag?
Rissa shield down.
No, what
Rissa
else?
shield down. D.Va mech half.
Did you see that? Did you see that? Equal.
Okay, I'm not doing that again.
Okay, yeah, I'm on fullback.
I'm pulling D.Va.
Okay, so that was just like your Hog did hook someone, but then he needs to remember his Hog. The only way on a flank he is going to survive is if he can take a breather. But they have an Ana who is going to stop that completely, so he needs to play more carefully. Your Hanzo did end up picking up the Widow, which means they're now a 5v6 with no like proper burst damage. I mean, they don't have proper burst damage anyway, but they now only have the Sombra, who's going to be sort of in your backline, or she should be at least. So like you should be taking this space now. You've just picked someone off. You should be taking this space. Use the Brig to zone out the Sombra. Then your Orisa pushes up to cart, and you fight them here when they've got one down.
Get a Mega, it's okay.
Putting shield back a little bit.
I'm burning the Orisa shield. Orisa shield's about to go.
Pulling
Down.
up.
You
In
want
2
up?
seconds, 1 second, pulling.
Shield break.
Thank you.
Sombra behind.
I'm hacked. I can't pull. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Shit.
Watch out for the shield.
There's middle high ground.
The only space they have right now is what you're giving them, which like when so you had like a 10-second window when their Widow was dead to push and aggress and win the fight.
Again, I can't do anything.
I've got all.
I'm putting
I'm
shield on
ulting.
this corner.
I died, but I also.
Pulling.
Nice.
Sombra.
That's a nice
Good
pull
ulti,
from
good ulti.
Orisa actually.
Should I switch to Widow to counter this?
Risa's, sorry, Anna's right side. She's alone. I
Yeah,
think.
I'm switching to Widow to counter this. That is Ana. That is not Widow.
Widow 1.
Anna's still right side.
If Yana's not doing anything right side, you should.
I'm sleeping right side.
Okay, so like this is gonna be a huge stagger, but you could leave it a bit longer.
Nope.
Ah, it's a timer.
Good
Nice.
kill.
But that was a very good fight. Your Hanzo built up his ult very fast. Orisa hit a very good pull to secure 2 kills, and then from there you worked around that and kept going. You had decent calls. I mean, it wasn't a bit cluttered, and you didn't have like proper like target focus calls, but there were calls of what you're gonna do, each of you, which is good. Eddie, yes, yeah, that is you. I'd recommend like when the fight's still going on, don't ask if you should swap. Just sort of like maybe wait until after the fight, or like just make the decision yourself. If you think their Widow is going to cause a problem and you can take her down, then you can switch to Widow. But if you don't, then you know you can keep Hanzo. Like you killed her as Hanzo, and the way Widow plays, Hanzo is Hanzo's really good against her because she'll just stand still and get headshot.
Alright. Make sure we don't overextend. This is
Hey,
where we're
Widow is
holding.
looking through the right side room.
You're holding in a good
Deeva's
place
coming that way
actually,
too.
like where the payload is, so they don't have any sustain. I know payload gives barely any sustain, but it does help them. And you're holding aggressive positioning, which is good.
Widow might be looking to hook up onto the side.
Like their comp, if you give them space, they are going to cause you a lot of problems if you give them
Everyone
space.
get behind the shield. Don't try and
Someone's going out. Someone's on the right side behind us.
Sombra's going behind us.
I've got bongo up. I'm going to use it in this room here as they come through. 3 seconds till shield.
Diva's flanking left side.
Back off. Shield going back up.
Sombra's translocated. I don't know where she is.
Orisa's making very, very good calls actually. Her callouts are really good. Like she's calling shields, halts if she's hacked. You know, I like that.
Diva's above me. I need to back off further a bit here. Come around the corner. Come around the corner.
There's a Sombra behind, on me.
Coming.
Meals, please, thank you.
Your Hog is playing a very like a third DPS basically. So it's like what you basically have a comp of 3-2-1. So you have 3 DPS, 2 support, and 1 tank, which is fine if this is gonna work. But if they were realizing this, they would aggress onto Orisa a lot more because they know that your Hog's flanking, and Orisa would just get taken down every time. But you know that's fine. Like I mean, if your Hog is even if your Hog is not getting picks, he is taking their attention away from your front line. So basically, like if your Hog were to show himself, this is something I do a lot when I play flankers and they have a Zen. I will just show myself to the Zen so he knows I'm there, but then I won't do anything to him, because then that's just gonna be in his mind all the time. Like, where's this Doomfist? Where's this Genji? Where's this Tracer? Like, well, what are they? They're gonna come out in any second, and like your Hog will just annoy him. So, like, even if your Hog's not gonna get picks, which if he tries to get picks, he's probably gonna get punished for it, or he should by the Ana. So he can just play that sort of play style where he just where he just sort of terrorizes the Zen but doesn't actually kill him.
Okay,
I don't know
Hog,
what's
Hog
on
up.
the guy.
Give Mac one.
There's the
Widowmaker on the right. High ground.
Widow right high ground.
Yeah.
Shields down, shields down.
Riptide, use Riptide. Behind. Somewhere behind. Shit.
Tyson, we got
Help me,
this.
Phyllis, help me. I'm 3 health.
Nice, Tyson.
That was a good call to use Riptide.
Oh, he's crashed. I've
DC.
crashed. I've crashed.
Krusty.
Oh shit, someone
Can we
crashed.
pause? Can we pause? Alright, let's do this.
I'm gonna reset on high ground, nobody else go in if you can help it.
Oh, instant death. Okay.
Alright, yeah. I'm just gonna.
Sorry,
go
I'm
back.
distracted. That was actually a really good fight for you guys. Like, I think if the guy didn't crash, you would have been able to keep momentum. The fight in general was really good for you guys. So obviously you would have got picked off early, but then you did back around for the Widow. Like, if there was, let me go back to where it was.
Me, Phyllis, help me.
Okay, so you've just lost a player. Your Widow, their Widow is up here, which means your Orisa, who did just die, but before that should be repositioning to have her shield in there. So, because then she's still shielding frontline and she's shielding the Widow, but she's like leaving a more defensive position for you guys to regroup and sort of come together. So like you called out use Ty. I mean, I don't know if he was in a bad position, but like if the fight doesn't seem to be swinging your way, but you think it's winnable, then you just gotta Ty, because Ty can secure at least one pick, which can completely swing the fight. Right now that D.Va's playing very overextended, which is something she's doing a lot, so you can punish her for that. Yeah, I mean, another thing is that their backline is uncontested. Like, I know I was just saying about their Hog. Oh, no, about your Hog, like, annoying the Zen. But if that Zen realizes your Hog's not actually going to kill him, which I think he is, then they have a completely uncontested backline, whereas your backline is being harassed by their Sombra. Like, even though the Sombra is not killing anyone, she is doing the job. She's doing her job. She is distracting you and making you think, okay, Sombra's behind on me, like, I need to turn around and deal with her, which is then taking attention off the front line and winning them the frontline fight. Just thought.
I'm 3 health.
Nice, Tyson.
Zen's
I-
low.
Oh,
Zen's
he's
low.
crashed. I've
DC.
crashed. I've crashed.
Krusty. Can we pause? Can we pause?
That was done smoothly. You took out the 10
Alright, let's
minutes.
do this.
I'm gonna reset on high ground, nobody else go in if you can help it.
Oh, instant death. Okay.
Alright, yeah. I'm just gonna pull back.
I got
Alright,
back.
there's my first point.
Okay. I'm holding you.
Don't dive in without the team stuff.
Okay, second point. So I need to stop getting distracted. Second point. You're holding in a very good place. Like, this high ground here is the perfect place to hold, especially with Orisa Hog. You should just be like standing up here and denying them. Basically, just not letting them get up to you and pummeling them with damage before they can get anywhere near you. And as soon as they try to get close to you, then you take them out. Which, like, it's just the best idea to do. It does mean they're gonna have 3 meters all the way down here, but then if you can fight them on here every single time and do this strat, then you will win. Apart from that, you can hold a more aggressive strat of like basically playing more split up, which is kind of dangerous, but you can play like,
I got back.
Alright, there's
I
my
think
first
it
point.
was just get shown. You can play sort of, you can hold split up, so like you'll have a tank down on the low ground, and then you'll have a DPS up here spamming this corridor, then you have like someone spamming this corridor too, and then like someone just spamming main, and you sort of just block off all the entrances.
Okay. I'm holding you.
Don't dive in without the team stuff.
We're not diving into it. We're not diving.
I'm
I
gonna go
thought I
get
saw you
grab.
going. I
Summer is is on the left side.
Yeah.
Chase
Orisa's half. They have shields, so.
Yeah.
They have walls again. I'm gonna counter walls.
I'm focusing her Orisa shield. You can.
That's a nice
Go to the
counter
west,
walls.
Down 200, 100.
You should, if they have an if they have an offensive Widow and you have a defensive Widow, you always save walls VoD has,
On my way back.
always.
I'll burst the shield.
Good shield.
Shield limit down, 4 seconds. 3
Push the
seconds,
Widow.
2 second, 1.
High ground.
They don't have walls either.
Holding Diva. She ate it.
Okay, so
Diva half.
there's like things I notice you guys aren't doing at all, which is like something I see in a lot of lower teams is you're not tracking ults, which is something like it's pretty easy to do actually. So your Junkrat should track their. Oh, sorry, why has it gone big again? What? Okay. Your Junkrat should track their, like probably their Sombra ult. Your Widow should track their Widow's ult. Your Orisa should track their Orisa's ult. Your Hog should track their Diva's ult. Your Mercy should track their Ana's, and your Zen should track their your Lucis should track their Zens. If you each do it, it's very easy, and you know it's going to give you an advantage. Because then, if you know what ults they have, you can much easier use ults proactively than reactively, and proactively using ults is really powerful because it means that they're going to have to use ults reactively, and not to make plays. Like they're going to have to use ults to stop your plays instead of making their own. Whereas you'll get to use your ults to make plays instead of stopping theirs. Also, you don't seem to have noticed your win condition, which is just spam their shield and let your Junk and Widow hit shot, like do tons of damage. If your Widow can even hit just body shots, I mean headshots is great, but like if she can even hit body shots, like you just spam down the shield with the Junk, the Orisa, and the Hog, and then your Orisa hits shots whilst your Junk also spams. They're not going to be able to. So they have Ana's Zen, so they're not going to be able to heal through that, and as well, and then like your Widow is going to have free, because they don't have much shield break. Your Widow's going to have free shots on theirs, and like free shots on everyone else. That is your win condition currently. Their win condition is just hit a huge EMP, and then like just follow up from that. But they don't really have much follow up from the EMP.
Okay, you've dropped already.
Thank you.
Putting a shield here.
Zenyatta's one behind shield. Got him.
You have to. They have no healers. Someone.
Got him.
Oh my god, your Widow's popping off.
Ursa half. Ursa half. Ursa half.
Okay, so they should be called. Like your Widow, because she's just killed both the healers. They should be called no healers, no healers, no healers. We go, we go, we go, we go.
Ursa 1 pulling. Hook
She's
Diva.
gonna go from.
Got him.
Where's the Diva? Diva in the back. Okay.
Okay,
Diva's-
Diva's
yeah,
fine.
let Diva go. Let Diva go. She's basically dead.
The Sombra is camping the right side of the map in the buildings.
Alright.
There was also no
Stick together,
direct
stick together.
target focus or like
Well, if we stay
pre-fight
so
macro,
close, you can ult.
but you know that's
This
what comes
she's
with high level
already
teams,
used,
and
Ult, so
it's a lot easier to do if I'm actually there telling you to do
Starstream,
it.
do you mind trying to track ulties?
It will be on
Yep, I can
Saturday.
try.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
This one.
Okay, that's just bad. Like telling one person to track ults is very, very difficult. Like, sorry, I need to stop distracting myself. Telling one person to track all the ults, is very bad because then they're going to be focused all the time on like, well, did their Genji use ult, or did their Honor, or maybe their Diva, and like it's just a lot of stress. And then especially, I think you just asked your Orisa to do it. I'm not sure. It might have been. One sec.
You trying to track ulties?
Yeah.
Well, if we
They're
stick
gonna have
too
a lot of
close,
trouble
then she
breaking
can
back into
ulti.
this with their comp, so they may switch.
This smoke
She's
is
already
kinda
used
annoying.
her ult, so it's down for now.
Yeah.
Alright. Starstream, do you mind trying
Okay, so you asked your Mercy. I mean, your Mercy isn't like so. It's easier for Mercy to track all the ults, but still it's bad because then she's less focused on actually doing
Track
shit in the
ultis.
game.
Yep, I can try.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
This one.
They currently
Genji now.
have
They have
Wolves,
Genji.
Orisa.
They have Genji.
Yeah, they got Genji. They're going dive a bit diving.
Yeah, so they're down about half of their ults right now.
They will have. Do they use trans in that last fight?
There's,
They
No,
don't-
they
they
don't.
have both
on
support.
some
They have
right
both.
now.
They might have
So,
trans. They
The,
might have.
the heroes that they're keeping will be the ones they've got ults on.
Yeah, they might have trans.
Kind of.
Focus that shield. Focus that shield.
Yeah, by now they'll
One
have
sec, one
trans
sec,
and
Nick.
nano.
It's on our side.
Just, by the way, Widow Orisa is the biggest head hitbox in the game. She's very easy to headshot.
I've been pulled off here. I'm back up to the.
Widow right side.
Widow right side.
Your Widow's putting very good pressure. You have good calls, and your Widow's putting very, very good pressure onto their
There's no one on payload,
Diva
guys.
behind, Diva
like
behind.
onto their team.
I've chased her off.
You are playing your win condition currently, which is I'm really impressed with. I don't know if you're doing it on purpose, but you're breaking the shield, and then your Widow is killing them, and your Junkrat is pressuring them with spam.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
You are being a lot more advanced than I've seen in previous scrims right now.
Yeah, I'm so lucky.
There's a Genji inside left side.
High ground.
Alrighty,
She got here for you, Widow.
thank you.
Genji's half.
Ah, come tonight.
They're wasting a lot of time.
They'll
going
have
for
no
big
ult.
They're
Yes.
high ground. They're back high ground.
That's a
They may have bongo boost.
Focus shield, focus shield.
Right side.
Shield
Perfect.
down.
Focus shield, and you win.
This is low.
They have
This is
Junkrat
low.
now.
Genji coming behind.
Diva behind, Diva behind.
It's hard to see. Like, oh my
Watch
god,
What a
Oh my god, that was good.
that was nice.
You-
It's hard to see because you're watching personal perspective. It's hard to see like where your team is positioned a lot. But your hog is playing like a third DPS this whole game, so your Orisa solo tanking, which they should be noticing, but
Orisa on me,
they're not.
they're on me.
Arista one,
Let's see
Arista
one,
one,
let's
Arista
see
one.
one.
Can you heal?
Bongo down. Bongo
They're on
down.
left side.
So
they're on
like
left
it's
side.
fine for you,
Two
but
second shield.
I'm coming back as Ryan.
oh, that's a huge bomb.
Oh shit.
Do you want
I only hope it's that you would have complete bombs off, but yeah, this is a good call.
Push, yeah.
Back up.
That's very good, Eva. Good. Eva.
Your Widow should take like the high ground, and
They're
then
going really far in, guys.
actually you probably don't have another
We're
contest for
gonna fight on
this.
card, I think
We can push. We can push.
Someone
Go.
contest.
There's a junk
Someone
up top.
contest.
Junk
No,
up
no
top.
one's touching. Your monkey should know he's not touching.
There's a junk
At
here.
most, they'll have Orisa ult.
No, they used it. Bongo's
Diva,
used
you're
it.
low.
Already used it.
You are making. Actually, you're doing really well at like calling out the ults and what they've just used and what they might have. Like you're doing a lot of higher level stuff. I think I don't want to be rude, but the only thing that's sort of letting some of you down is mechanics, which is something you can always work on. Play aim hero or just 1v1s or free for alls or something. And like there's also you're missing a lot of other stuff. And a lot of the time not playing to win conditions
They use
on
trade
purpose.
Trace chasing me.
No.
They have no trans anymore, they only have Zen. They got big break.
Real low.
We
They
any
don't have
other
trans
break
anymore, but
heroes.
that's not like
Tracer behind.
you don't have an offensive ult really.
No recall.
It's going front.
Okay,
So
I'm
Diva's
gonna
going
go up.
high ground. Junk, get Diva high ground.
Yep.
Got Tyre.
RTT's Guardian Angel. She's half.
Your drunk should be using Tyre more proactively. Like he's gonna charge it very, very quickly, especially with the shield break he has. So yeah, just use it. Just pop it as soon as you get it.
North.
Trace is high ground where I died. She's used a bomb.
We're on high ground.
Diva's one. Diva mech one. Ah. Yeah,
She has
Tracer
no
mech
recall.
one.
Where's Tracer up top?
I'm switching. I'm switching.
Yeah, I'm
Tracer one.
Behind you.
No worries, guys. We need to group up. We need to group up
Yep.
like right now.
Just like right now, you've just lost the fight mostly because of like your junk not ulting in a safe position and losing his Tyre. And like so Junkrat is like thorough when he ults. He just sits there and he's like, okay, kill me. Just kill me. I'm standing still, kill me. So your Mercy should be sort of like pocketing him as such. You also lost that. You're playing dive. No, so you're running dive, but you're not playing dive really. Their comp is very hard to dive into since they don't have a backline, which you guys should be realizing if you're going to play dive tanks. You should be realizing Brig is not backline, or she is, but she's hard to kill. Junkrat can just jump away, Mercy can fly away, Tracer is not diveable, Orisa is not diveable, and Dira is not diveable. So you do not have a dive target against their comp, which means dive is bad, unless you're gonna like dive and try and focus the Mercy completely, but she's staying like with everyone, or your Doomfist's gonna get a pick on her, but then she's just gonna get healed by Brig. So
Alright, I almost have ulti for the next push.
I've got Valkyrie.
Tyson, don't go out.
Alright,
Don't go
guys.
out.
No, we need to go out. We need to go out now.
Touch.
Touch.
Touch, touch. Good stuff.
Tracer left side.
I'm one.
Tracer left side behind us.
Heals.
Orisa half.
this is a fight that's like very hard to. You guys are just
Or nah, don't
like
go
getting
right,
staggered
don't go
more.
right. Okay, we can. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Can you go Hammond Van? Grant?
Wait.
We can do this.
There you go.
Okay, no worries.
Nah,
Yes.
there
It's
was
like
a
2
part-
seconds.
There was a part.
No, Rhino
Whichever
is just
you-
like, oh,
I'm gonna move off the card.
yeah, let's do this.
Alright.
Guys, we gotta
Forward.
destroy the. We gotta
Do
destroy
you
the
want
back.
me to?
Junk.
They're playing on the right hello.
Sorry, this is okay. I just wanted to skip through it. Okay, so the comp you're running is very high level. You have a triple tank, So your Hog is going to act as a second DPS. The D.Va should be basically just like, your D.Va's job is to sit there and right click the Bastion and not let him die. Body block for him, right click for him, like, you know, boop away anyone that's going to come near him. That is her job. Orissa's just there as a shield and some extra damage. Ana is going to want to pocket the Bastion, which, I mean, she can do. And she can also hit an anti on anyone that tries to dive the Bastion, but it's going to be a problem for her to try and keep him up. Like, a better pick with, I don't know, or you could pick like 2 main healers to completely pocket him. And then you got Lucio for utility for your Ana, but I mean, she doesn't exactly need utility, because, or unless you've just swapped off Lucio or something, but she doesn't need utility because she's going to be playing payload all the time, keeping your Bastion alive.
Yeah,
Pirate ship.
Junkrat is.
And then, sorry, they've got a Mei, who is going to cause your Bastion problems. She can freeze him and lift him up above the cart, where then he can be destroyed by the Junkrat. They've got the Ryan and the Zarya to sort of block some damage from you, and the Zarya's going to be very high charge, I'm guessing, a lot of the time. Then they've got a Brig and Moira. So they're basically running Deathball with, like, Junk and a Mei.
Big counter, but only if they can pull it off.
Alright, everyone at the door, everyone at the door.
Destroy the trap on the
Trap on
payload.
payload, trap on payload. They got me.
Gosh.
Very good stuff.
Main left side. They are left side. They're playing on the payload.
Yeah, they got a massive wall, which is something you guys can't,
Don't change, it's fine.
Okay.
you guys can't predict that,
We're gonna like shoot at them from
because you don't know what comp they're running. So that's sort of unlucky. I mean, this is something I can say, but like no one ever does it. It's just all walk out the spawn at the same time. But to sort of avoid that, but no one ever does that.
the door. I'm taking them back off.
Go up top if you go Bastion.
Yeah.
Up top. It's easier, less spam.
Less spam, but also we can't shoot out of safety.
Yes, we can. That's what a shield's for.
That's true.
Brig and Zarya in the right side building, Junkrat on the roof.
So you guys should just like basically rush slightly out of spawn and then
They know what-
and
Okay, let's go
like pressure them.
Let me go on a payload. Just stay up there for a bit.
Your Bastion's gonna jump on payload and get destroyed every time if they play this right.
I can't block against those melee.
I got one. That's alright. I'll respawn faster. That's alright. That's like a main part of the
Junkrat
comp.
behind.
Brig is sleeping.
Discorded.
Okay. That cool. You killed the Ryan. Great. But do not explain exactly why you like exactly what that means right when the fight is still going
Zoe's
on.
half. Shield here. Pulling.
Nice peel there
Junkrat's one.
for the Ana.
Junkrat down.
You should be able to kill this Brig.
Zai's dead.
Nice.
Alright, good
That
stuff
was
there.
well played. I mean, they should have just destroyed your Bastion before he could kill the Ryan straight away. But like that was basically the job of the Bastion is to be completely protected and like put so much damage into them that they can't do anything to him without saving ults and without like they can't even get close before they die. The job of you guys is to just keep your Bastion alive.
Let's keep this up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna push forward with D.Va.
sounds good.
They've got. Don't do that. They've got like really.
There's a main left side.
stuff. Stay on the cart, D.Va.
Your mate's far back, behind the car stack.
Okay.
Watch
so
out.
From right side.
They're coming.
At this point, you know your Bastion's gonna get targeted, so just let him
There's
die,
one.
or he should get targeted.
May's on. Careful, May. May left
Like
side.
if you know they're tiring your, well, I mean, if you have a Bastion, they're gonna tire to kill your Bastion, so you should just let him die, or sort of put him on his own. So if he dies, he's the only one who's gonna die.
Right out behind. Right.
Oh, thanks. I'm frozen there.
He should not ult when he's about to get frozen.
Run one, run one.
Oh!
I mean, I know he's killing everyone, but
Ah,
I
left
killed
side.
myself.
Don't
I'm
watch on
so
top.
bad.
Don't watch on top.
like you're about to get frozen. Chances are, like you might die if you ult.
That nano was too good.
That nano saved me so well.
Was the point.
What else do they have, guys?
They
might
changed to
have
Ryan Zarya. No, they got
You know what I reckon's happened there? I reckon the shield line of sighted it because May's ult isn't actually area effective line of sight.
Careful, grab.
True that. Maze ult is not area of effect, it's line of sight. Yes.
Yeah, they
I mean, that doesn't mean like if you turn around, if you like look up, you
Glad
won't get
you're
affected by it.
always
But
up because we're grouped up enough as it is.
I got a Brig up there. They're all up there. They're all up there. They're waiting. They're waiting. They're gonna come down.
Ah, crap.
I don't know,
Wait, so,
Yuzen
like,
should have
order
trans earlier than that. As soon as they're jumping on.
I'm trying to. They've used all their ults.
Okay.
Pull back.
We're not gonna be able to get back on this card again.
Yeah, we will. Don't worry, they've used all their ults. We can't
Yeah,
not.
they used everything, man.
Zarya's on 100% charge.
No worries,
Yep,
we'll just
as I
leave
said, their Zarya's going to get charged up so much by a Bastion, which is why, like, you're going to have to, especially because she has a Brig, she's going to be, like, practically invincible. So, you're going to have to, like, basically focus her down all the time, so she doesn't get to put out that much damage, or you're just going to have to swap with the Bastion. Stop charging her up that much. If she's going to be that much of a
Focus
problem.
Zarya.
I'm gonna go underneath towards the cart because otherwise we're gonna take.
Anna behind you, I need
I'd
heal.
recommend, if your Bastion doesn't have ult, and you've just lost the fight, swap up the Bastion, because Bastion is effective usually, or playing against a team that knows what they're doing, Bastion is only effective when he's on the payload. So, if you can't get on the payload because you've just lost the fight, and you're going to get spammed down by their 2 spam DPS, you know, like, your Bastion's going to have a hard time getting onto the payload if they play
We
this
want to
right.
go up top mid, they got Junkrat.
That's
Come under, come
And
under.
I always say, if they play this right,
Here, under.
because in an ideal situation, and a lot of scrims I watch, they will play to what they should be doing, but
The top
That's
right.
fine.
I forgot they don't. Yeah, they just let you get on the point.
The Brig's
They're
behind.
behind.
Ah, it's got us.
Weak
Yeah,
one.
okay.
They're all anti.
The
Zarya behind.
Bastion's trying to work.
Zarya's discorded.
No,
Run low, run one.
We keep
guys,
getting you.
we might need to switch up strat. Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna go straight for payload. I'm gonna sit up higher. You guys can go for payload when they die.
You should definitely swap with Bastion now.
Wait.
You don't have ult. You're not close to your ult. You're getting spammed down by 2 spam heroes. You're charging up the Zarya. You're getting stunned by Brig. You should get off Bastion. Go play a Pharah or
Zarya has grav, guys.
Move.
a Junkrat too, or a Hanzo.
You guys jump out. Come down, jump out.
No, right here. Bastion, right here.
No, I'm not coming down. Go on the point. They'll think guided. And I can shoot them from the top.
Send Diva on the cart.
That's a big brain strat from your Bastion, actually.
They're all on top left again.
Junkrat pulled one on one.
They're all on point.
Break the Ryan shoot if we can.
Gonna shatter
Focus Ryan shoot.
Ryan's there.
Focus Zarya.
Thanks for Nana. Ooh, thanks.
He should not have trans.
Right side.
Your Zen. So their win condition is grab and just swing into it, and Hanzo ult into it, and do everything into it. The only thing you're going to counter that with is this. So your Bastion, no, your Zen, he does not need to trans anything else, because as long as they're not using grav to win a fight, his, you know, like, he's doing his job. So he should save his ult for that all the time and not use it when your Bastion just gets a little bit low. Like, you're going to win this fight. You've just killed, like, 4 players on their team, and your Bastion's ulted and he's getting healed. You know, like, even if your Bastion's going to die, you're still up players, so you are still going to win that. Or you should win that.
With me.
Hanzo down.
Got him.
Keep shooting.
That's it. Keep it up.
Alright, good stuff.
Someone called before the fight started.
One's coming in.
Grav.
Yeah, they'll have a lot of ults.
Yeah, they're holding grabs. They might
They got
have.
big tire.
Still on point, please.
They might have coalescence again by
Okay.
now.
Junkrat's going right side, I think. They're coming in. Junkrat's up.
Run up.
Junkrat's up top right.
You don't need to use ults. As soon as you've capped the point, without them contesting, so you're going to cap this point no matter what. So if they then contest and get you to use ults, they are technically, like, they've come out better than you have. You've just capped the point. You're getting fast respawns, like, your spawn is literally about 10 meters backwards, and, like, you know, you're pushing them back, so using ults for them to to use a fight. Okay, sorry, I'm explaining this really badly. Basically, a lot of the time, So the reason, oh my god, I can't talk. So a lot of the time, lower tier players will use ults or use like a lot of resources to keep themselves alive, just because they don't want to die. When they don't realize that it's better to save those resources and those ults and just die, like with still winning the fight, because it's going to win them more fights. So like even if your hog's about to die, he does not need to ult because you've just taken the point. Even if he dies, you've just taken the point. Even if Zen's about to die, he does not need to ult because you've just taken the point, and also their Zarya has her grav, and I mean if she grabs, then you can trans for an aggressive engage. Like if she grabs after your Zen dies, then you can transfer an aggressive engage and win like that.
They got ripping.
I'm gonna flank and surprise.
Hanzo's high ground.
Junkrat Hanzo both high ground.
They have sonar on us. We can't sneak. They have
I'm
sonar.
gonna swap off hog. We need damage up, I think.
You should be comboing the Holt hooks as well. You're not doing that anymore.
Shield's going down. 3 seconds for shield.
They're Junk's firing at us. They have another
Your
sonar
Orisa is
on
calling
us.
out pulls, but your hog's not communicating with it. I don't know if that's just because he doesn't trust her or whatever, or just not listening.
They're coming behind. Ryan, Brig, everyone
Watch out
behind.
for Junko behind. Junko behind. Okay. No worries.
You're okay. There's Zarya. Every single one of you is shooting a Zarya bubble. All of you. If you see a Zarya bubble and she's not low, just don't shoot it. It's easy.
Yeah.
You're charging our grav every fight because of it.
I'll play Ryan then. It's fine. I love Ryan.
You've got a debomb, don't you? Don't switch.
Fuck to it.
Is this all one map?
I think it was the mech, not David Bomb. I've just used it.
Oh, okay.
Don't get picked, guys. Don't get picked.
Alright. You guys push in, I'll be behind.
Jungler's on top left. Hanzo as well.
I'm doing Zarya.
On the sonar.
That was very, very good play by your Ryan. So you've swapped to Ryan D.Va now. Question mark. You know they have a heavy brawl with the Ryan Zarya and the Hanzo, and especially with the double main support. So your Ryan, with just on his own, and an Ana and a Zen, is going to have a very, very tough time against their tank comp. I mean, he did just outplay their Ryan like fuck, but he shouldn't have been allowed to do that.
Junk's off.
Also, your tanks are playing extremely aggressive from the rest of your team. I don't know where the rest of your team are, but your tanks are playing very, very aggressive from that.
I nearly got out. Be aggressive with me. Flank around now.
Push.
Someone's up top.
Nice calls, nice calls.
Junkrat 1. He's being healed.
Tyson, call
I was
for
like-
healing when you need
Play
it.
half.
My shield's low.
Ana's half.
Ryan's has shadow. I need to save my shield for him.
Run shield almost down.
Focus Ryan shield.
I'm low.
Run shield
Run shield
down.
Right side.
They're using a lot of ults.
Junkrat down.
Junko 1. Nice.
I need heal desperately.
Dude, good stuff.
I'm getting them off cart. Run down.
Ana.
Your Ryan knows they have an Ana who's going to anti him because he doesn't have a Zarya to get rid of the anti effect.
No, he's here.
That's a very good fight for you guys, actually.
No, you won.
Why am I? I got it.
Okay, that was a very, very good fight for you guys. You used ults perfectly. You had very, very good calls, very, very good communication. You had good target focus. You called out mid fight what ults they're gonna have and why, like what you need, what resources you're gonna dedicate to that. That was very, very well played. I'm impressed. Oh my god, I just WTFD. Okay. Oh wait, that's too far. Dude. Oh my god. Okay, we'll just go with this. You're running actually Junk Widow's a very strong defense comp because you've got two heroes that like can 2-hit people, or I mean Widow can 1-hit, but like then you've got the Orisa Hog should be comboing the Holts and the hooks. You've got Zen Mercy, good heal comp, especially with Junk Widow, because the Zen can discord someone, and if the Widow and the Junk hit them both, they're dead. They're just straight dead. Especially if one of them's getting damage boosted.
Alright, I've trapped the right side counts.
Like you have extreme spam comp right here.
This is a bad position for me to hold. You reckon we should play it?
Oh my god. Can this stop? Can you stop, please? well, I will just talk about something for a minute. They are running dive, which means so you have a backline of a Widow and a Zen. On the bright side, you have you have an Orisa and a Hog, so you have Bunker with a Junkrat, which is very hard to dive because of all the spam. But if they can dive and you're not going to support your Zen enough, your Zen's going to die, and then they're probably going to focus your Mercy or your Widow. So you just need to remember, you have basically, like, you're running like a 4-2 comp. So you have 2 front, that's enough. I mean, it's not. And then you have 2 back. You have a 2-player backline. So you're going to have to protect that and peel for them. I hate my life. Why the snow load?
Alright, I've trust the right side house. So if anyone should do there, everyone know.
This is a bad position for me to hold. You reckon we should play it?
If this is just going to be like this, I'm just going to stop the review.
Alrighty. Looking good, guys.
Should be good.
Alright, I've trust the right side house.
And then, so yeah, you're going to be looking to peel and just break their tanks with all your spam before they can hit the floor.
No. Widow.
That's a diva. Widow.
Mercy's low.
Everything Yada. Tracer.
There, Tracer. I had a little giggle.
Hook the diva, hook the diva, hook the diva.
She's discorded.
Top
Widow's
left,
doing
top
something.
left.
Good calls, good calls.
They're flanking. Behind.
Winston.
Tracer behind.
You can kill this Winston. Oh, okay, you should.
There's a Widow right. Kill. Focus Widow.
Yeah, your junk should pressure their Widow
Tracer's
a bit.
over there too. Tracer's out there too.
Winston's discorded.
No worries, guys. No worries. We need group up.
I like the positivity, actually. This is something, like, a lot of people don't realize how important it is, but making sure the whole team is not tilted and they're staying positive is so important. Like, just saying, you know, it's alright, guys, you know, we got the next fight is ours, we're gonna win this. It's huge, because your team are gonna, you know, that's maybe gonna make them play a little better.
We've only got one alive out there.
It's something I make sure I do in every scrim. Like, if
And then we can push on.
my team are losing, or, you know, we lose a fight really closely, I just go, it's alright, guys, you know, we're gonna win this.
Winston's in.
If you know that Winston's in, he's so punishable.
Nice, good stuff.
That was the best thing to watch.
Like, someone just said Winston's in, and no one listened, and now he's just behind you, and when you could so easily kill him.
Better mine's down.
Widow's left side of cart. Getting healed.
Diva's max one.
I'm gonna push. Winston's behind us. Winston's going to die. The support's behind.
Tracer's doing some weird high ground thing. Hold up.
Diva's low.
Tracer's dead. Jump on point. That's our
He
pick.
walked.
Those are our picks.
Oh god. Right, shield me right.
Your Widow's really good.
Big shield.
Thank you, man. Hook the diva. Diva 1.
Mercy.
The good thing is you guys are taking the aggression that you're taking all the space your Widow's just given you, which is really good. I mean, your Widow's really good.
Mercy 1.
Over Genji now. He's discorded.
Mercy 1. Mercy 1.
That was really well played. Your Widow just popped the fuck off, and then you took the space that she gave you, but it worked, so.
We can do this, guys. I'm not gonna play Widow though. They'll be expecting Widow or Bastion.
Just gonna skip forward like a minute.
Mike was on mute.
Really weird position. Hold up. Let me stone up.
Okay, let's look at your comp. You have Brawl tanks with a Brawl DPS, a flanker to harass backline, and also, I mean, if he's not going to harass the backline, he can, like, because they have a Brig and an Ana, then he can, and a Moira actually, and a Reaper, he can just fight their Rhine in the front line. They have a Winston who might be looking to harass your Zen, but your Doomfist can peel for that, and your Hanzo 2, your Zyra can bubble your Zen. Your Mercy's going to be looking to heal up everyone. Your Zen will be looking to have his orb on the Doomfist. Then their Reaper's going to try and brawl in the front line to give them more of an advantage. They have double main tank, which means you could switch to a Reaper also. They have a Brig who's going to be able to sustain their Reaper and their Rhine, and also protect their Ana and their Moira. Oops.
Yeah, they got Reinhardt beyond the.
Left side, Winston's one out, left side. Winston's inside the building, left side.
They're all in the building, yeah.
Brig on me.
Run down,
Rip
run down.
down.
Reaper behind, Reaper behind. Okay, nice.
On break, on break. Break one.
Winston one, Winston one.
Winston one.
Thanks for the heals.
Break now. Brig's one. Brig's dead.
Tank three.
Where's the Ana? Where's the Ana? Ana's inside the building, I think. Yes, Moira and Ana inside the building.
By hills, by hills.
I'm asleep. Just go in, there's some support. Don't be afraid.
Oh, it's so low.
Ana's still alive.
Good call actually there. Like, I mean, honestly, if it takes shouting at them to go in, then just do it. Like, if it counts, like, if they're not doing anything and it takes just shouting at them to go in, it's worth it.
Here we go for another push.
You guys are actually, you have very, very good target calling here, and you're playing around what your comp is good at and like to what their comp is bad at. Which I don't know, I have no idea if you're doing this on purpose, but it's working really well.
Yeah,
I'll stay on payload. You guys can move if you need to.
Yeah, bird hold down.
noise.
Point, is it you, Grant?
Sorry?
Is it? No, it's
Don't get hooked out of position. You don't want to get hooked out of position.
If you aggress, you can res that.
Left side. Out the corner. Nice.
That's what I was going for, yeah.
That was a massive dragon, it just saved the Mercy's res. What's the bubble? No, you should be calling target. Arissa. You know.
Focus,
Bring Ana down. Bring Ana down.
Is it?
Your Doom is popping. Their Doom is popping too. Oh my god, their Doom popped, but that was really close. Okay. Their Doom did really well. Your Doom did, like, you had some really nice DPS plays. You had actually good calling, but it was really inconsistent, so I'd work on consistency of calls and also consistency of ult tracking. Like, when you did it, it was really helpful and it worked, but you guys weren't doing it all the time. Also, you were playing a lot of time to what your comp was good at and to your win condition, but I don't know if you're doing it on purpose, so I'd recommend always making sure you at least have a win condition and then realizing what it is and playing around it. What else? So you're a lot of the time your off tank doesn't play with your main tank, or your main tank doesn't play with your off tank, which if they would punish that properly, it would work really well. So yeah, that's the main points. Also, I've made other points and I didn't write the stuff down, so you'll have to just see throughout the video. So yeah, I hope that's helpful, and goodbye.